Okay, hello everybody. Thank you for being here today. First of all, I'd like to apologize because I am recovering from a cold. So you'll be seeing me drinking a lot today, water. And if I have to stop, I ask you for apologies because I really had a bad time last week. So from data to wisdom, the truth is that I selected the other title below, but the organization told me, no, this is not sexy enough. So you need to change the title to, for instance, this. And I said, OK, let's do it, no problem. Today, I would like to talk to you about our view on what is really to be data-driven. What does it mean for a company? And then I would like to get into some examples on how we are doing this at BBVA. We don't have much time, so I will cover just a few bits, but hopefully some ideas that for me are important. So first of all, if this works, next. Yeah. So what is to be data-driven? No? To me, it's just to summarize it a lot, I would say that it's either to support decision-making with data or to eliminate it through automation. No? And the example here is basically support decision-making is having something like Google Maps for coming here today. So you are a human, you look to the screen, and then you decide which road is better to come here. Data-driven decision-making. In the other case, in the case of self-driven cars, we see that we don't have humans deciding. Okay? This is a data-driven system, but that decides and acts by itself. So we are eliminating decision-making. So in both cases, what we have here, very basically, are predictions. In the case of Google Maps, we have predictions on how much time it will take me to get to La Nave, what is the average speed, where should I go, some recommendations. Those are predictions, maybe not that advanced. In the other case, we also have predictions. The predictions here are, this is another car, this is a tree, this is a lane. Okay, so it's a data system that is making predictions, and in this case, is taking action. So this is all about deciding on data, humans seeing information, automating, if we are letting the machines act. Okay, so this is happening all over the place in our lives. This is a slide that I made this week trying to represent my whole life, my day, one day in my life. I use all these apps normally, some others as well, but they didn't fit in the circle. So basically, we have a lot of predictions here. How I slept, because this is an algorithm that is predicting if I slept well or bad, depending on my movements. What's the weather prediction, of course, what to watch, because I watch Netflix in the morning when I try to exercise a little bit. The best route, as we say, who to follow, what to see, or what to search. Of course, we're trying to help people to understand how to save, what to hear, what to buy, what is the best price. I have a house in the beach, and I have it on Airbnb, and they are recommending me the best price depending on the days, one price per day, where to go, what to drink if you use this type of applications on wine, and then take me home if I have gone out. Okay? So all these companies are getting data and creating very good personalized experiences that become better and better as they gather more and more data. So these are really data-driven companies, because they know that the core, the way they can differentiate from others, is based on how they use the data. Because the better they use the data, the better the experience they will give me, and then I will use it more, so I will give them more data. So this is like a virtuous circle that they make their business on. So what do they get at the end of the day from a business perspective? They get millions of customers with very personalized experiences at very low costs, because all what they do is very, very much automated. Okay, so looking at these companies, in a company that is pretty old, BBVA is more than 150 years, as all the banks are, what can we learn from them, and how can we apply these ideas in order to really become data-driven? So at BBVA, again, to do it, well, just a comment here. I forgot this. To what extent they are using data, it's not just that Netflix uses data to recommend me a movie, because some of you have seen it, and we saw another 2 movies as well. They also use it to decide what is the picture they are using to propose me to watch, in this case, Stranger Things. So if I normally get into horror movies, they will show me this. If I normally click on 80s movies, the Goonies, E.T., etc., they will show me that one there. Okay, so it's not just recommending me the movie. It's also the way they are presenting it to me, which is really, really personalized. Okay, so to me, that is a huge example on what is really being a data-driven company. And much more things that Netflix does that is really amazing. Scary sometimes, eh? Also, we still are on our way. But basically, this is based on 4 elements. No? Of course, you need the technology. If you're a startup, that's kind of easy because you just go to whatever cloud provider, push a button, and there you go with your system up and running, no? In a few seconds. If you are a big company, that's not that simple. Even though these technologies are open source, are available, are cheaper than the previous ones, you have a huge legacy system that you need to replace or make it coexist. Okay, so that is the first thing. You need a platform. Once you have a platform, you need, of course, data. Okay, you need real policies to have good data availability, clean data, and also to gather more data in the future. Okay, and here are some of the things that we are trying to do in BBB. I'm not going to enter into that. So platform, data, talent. Of course, you need people that is able to do new stuff with this data. Okay, and here we've been working extensively for the past, I would say, 8 years at BBVA, trying to attract these profiles that at the beginning were more unknown and now are more mainstream, the data scientists. Not only them, also the people that work together with the data scientists, the developers, the designers that are able to develop these data products. And of course, on top of that, once you have these 3 things, then you need the good questions. So what do we do with this? No? And to me, it's always, you need to build this from here to up there. But you need to be very clear on what you want to do there before starting to do anything here. Otherwise, you can end up with a huge, fantastic platform, a lot of people working there with nothing really important or interesting to do. Okay, so just to give you a couple of examples on what we are doing in the bank, we like to divide basically the projects or the initiatives or the things where we can make an impact from data in what we do below the glass, so everything that is more operational is happening inside the company, and then everything that is customer-facing, no? The services, the applications. And here you can see what we can do. Again, it's a summary, no? But internally we can do a lot of automation, we can gain a lot of efficiencies, and we can, very important, better support internal decision-making. How our employees, our people, decide. And in the case of the above the glass, as I said before, what we are able to deliver, to provide with data-driven systems is fantastic personalized experiences that gives you a lot of relevance in the market, and you can do this at scale. Okay? If we, as a bank, wanted to give personalized experiences to our 70-something million customers, doing it with humans is impossible. I mean, economically non-viable, no? Imagine the case of whatever the other companies that you saw, that they have hundreds of clients. How do they provide a personalized experiences? Only with a data-driven system. So examples of this, I will focus on the above the glass part, which is the area where I work. In BBVA, we have a vision on how we can do much better in terms of helping people manage their finances better and decide better on their money. So we started a few years ago with some pieces that might seem simple today, but they are not. And they are the basis for something much interesting that we are trying to provide, and we will see in a second. No? But first of all, we need to be able to categorize automatically all the transactions that we are receiving. And I can tell you that whenever we faced this project, we found out that we had 1,500. So first of all, we need to be able to categorize automatically all of them, even those that you say, for instance, I don't know, monthly rent or present for my auntie that you write by hand. We are also able to categorize those. Then we started launching, on top of that, tools like, for instance, comparison. You can compare yourself with others, and which I think is interesting. You can simulate yourself in another city with your salary, but living somewhere else, and you can compare yourself to people living there, how much they spend in which category. Okay, this is available today, and then we started working on prediction. And today we can predict with a very high level of accuracy what is going to happen in your account 2 months before it happens. Okay, of course, we are not going to predict if tomorrow you're going to go out for dinner and you decided today. That's not the point. The point is that around 70% of the things that happen in your account are pretty stable or predictable. And more interestingly, if we fail in the prediction, it's because something happened. And sometimes it's interesting to find out what could happen, no? So on top of that, we created this idea of financial health that we are still on the way. This is a long way to go, but today we already have a kind of a measure on how healthy you are and things that you could do to be healthier. But which I think is much more important is these small messages that we are starting to launch. If you are a BBVA customer, probably you have received some of them. Based on all the previous tools that I showed you, which are all of them data-driven engines. For instance, you have received a direct debit that is higher than expected. Maybe it's OK. Maybe the water, you spent a lot of money in water last month because whatever, something happened. Nobody tells you. Not the water company, nor your bank, nobody. No? Now we are starting to identify things that are higher than expected, and we'll let you know. Okay? Other examples are, you normally get some income, some money, some payment. This month, you didn't get it. Maybe it's OK, but you didn't. Have a look. Okay? Or this one, good news. Last month, you saved more than what you do normally. Okay? Do something. Or not, go for dinner. But I think it's interesting. For me personally, it's interesting to know these type of things. So we are going to start to see more and more and smarter types of messages like this. So the idea is not just to show you information on categories, graphs, expenditures, etc. It's to give you things or tips that you can use and take action on them. Another example here is our app, pretty successful, that is called BBVA Valora, that gathers data basically from the real estate market. We've launched this already in several countries, and the idea is that you are able to see how much is your house and how much is the house that you would like to buy. And the last addition is this augmented reality app that you can go with your mobile, searching for a house, and you will see the price on top of the image of your mobile phone. Okay? Again, here we are trying to help people in their journey to buy a house. So just I have 1 minute left, and some of these functionalities and others were recognized, have been recognized for 3 years in a row because last week we got the good news that we won the prize of the best app in the world by Forrester for 3 years in a row. Recognizing that this is something different, and as I said, we still have a long way to go. But we need to design this type of system so people can trust in them, because whenever you start getting into data-driven automated systems, how do we make them trustable for humans? So just a couple of ideas here, and I know you've been discussing ethics before here, but we need to be able to trust first that the system will work, that it will use the data properly, and more importantly, that it will have me in the middle. It will be suggesting me or deciding for me, but on things that are good for me, not good for somebody else, no? And this is not that simple. As we know, even with the best of the intentions, because most of the fails that we are seeing in AI, most of the things that you read in the newspapers, they are not intentional. They are fails because the system didn't work as we expected, which is very normal, by the way, because a machine learning system adapts to the environment, and we don't know how it's going to behave. So even with best of the intentions, these data-driven systems can violate privacy, perpetuate negative profiling, give unfair access to different goods, reduce quality of life, and of course, from a business perspective, destroy trust and brand equity. This is true, so we have to bear this in mind. What can we do? Well, we're seeing a lot of initiatives on this concept of responsible data usage checklists, or teams, or labs. Here are some examples, some of the things that we can do more from the from the algorithm development side, which is, for instance, OK, of course, challenge your math. Don't be happy with the first good result that you get in an algorithm. Test and learn all the time. Check biases in data. Also, how critical is the problem? It's not the same to recommend a movie or a song as, I don't know, recommend something that is more related to healthcare, okay? An operation or a medicine. It's not the same. It's not the same to recommend a song as to recommend a pension fund. So the problem is very important. And we shouldn't apply the same rules to every problem. Who are we empowering? So who is going to be the one that is getting the result of the decisions made by the algorithm? Okay? Is the human, the person, the client, is the company, is the government? What is the worst thing one could do? This is very, very interesting. And I would say, what is the worst thing it could happen with an algorithm when you launch it out there? No? Because probably the worst things that you can think of now, they will happen. And we've seen lots of examples. For instance, in Alexa, there are thousands of very funny stories, things that happen. And that was not the intention at the beginning when they developed it. So I'm not saying that this has to stop from doing anything. It's that you at least need to wonder. And then, are the variables actionable for the subject? Okay. So for instance, if I tell somebody, OK, you cannot get into this job because you are not qualified enough, or you cannot get this job because you are a woman, that is very different. And there are systems today in place that are getting into this type of decisions. So some of the things that we are working on at BBVA on these matters, very, very close to where the development is happening, is on fairness. I am out of time, I know. Fairness, so use the variables that we should be able to use and not the others. Transparency, what are the goals of the algorithms? Diversity, are we getting our customers or our users into filter bubbles? Because the algorithm is more efficient in filter bubbles. And, of course, interpretability of machine learning systems. So this is it. We don't have time for questions, but I will be around and in the BBVA stand if you want to talk. Thank you so much.